Hi everyone, it's Mark Merrill with Firm, Fairness in Reporting Media. Our special edition today deals with transgender attacks on innocents at a Minnesota church, as you may already know about, but there's a Maine connection. You'll have to see what happens. First, here's a report and an update on the Minnesota church shooting.
Disturbing, but they really provide some insight into what was going on in the shooter's mind when he acted today. Investigative reporter Ryan Raish has spent the day looking through these videos, which and also contain a so-called manifesto. Ryan, what did you find?
Yeah, so right now investigators are poring over these videos scheduled to post on YouTube around the time of the shooting. They were posted under the account of Robin Westman, and they were live for a couple hours before being removed by law enforcement. One of the more jarring images from the videos is this one, the arsenal of guns and ammo on display. Something many of you may have noticed is the written words and names on some of the weapons. One of the guns says, "Kill Trump," and others have the names of notable mass shooters, including Ruppnow, likely a reference to Natalie Ruppnow, the suspected mass shooter in Madison last year. The name Robert Bowers is also written on one of the weapons. He was responsible for the deadliest attack on the Jewish community. We don't know when this video was shot, but there is a reference to tomorrow. Take a listen. Tomorrow. I'm sorry to my family. But that's it. That's the only people I'm sorry to. Those kids. It's really disturbing to listen to. In addition to the guns and ammo, the video also flips through these pages of what appears to be a manifesto. It's addressed to my family and friends, saying in part, "I'm a sad person, haunted by these thoughts that do not go away. I know this is wrong, but I can't seem to stop myself." In another video, this one, Westman shows a different letter written in another language, and ending with this map that appears to be of a church, possibly a critical clue for investigators. We see several guns in those videos. Police say only 3 were used in the attack. Guys, all 3 purchased legally and recently. Lindsay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Minnesota shooting situation. But closer to home here in Maine, there was an incident also on August 25th while we were going about our daily routines, folks, and about to show you the incidents that were happening or the people that were involved. And actually, it's kind of like putting a jigsaw puzzle together. That was what we're going to bring it to you right now. It's courtesy of the Maine Wire and Steve Robinson, who of course is also known for his providing the Robinson Report. First of all, the Minnesota or Minneapolis shooter. It's this young man right here, folks. Where were the parents when all this was going on? Does anybody have an idea on that one? Welcome to our special edition of Firm, folks. Transgender attacks on incidents at a Minnesota church. And then what happens? Well, we're about to show you some more of that in just a moment. But to finish up a little bit more on this particular story, the Raging Patriot, as you may see before you here, was the source of this particular one on a Robin Westman, as you probably heard in the video. Born Robert Paul Westman carried out tragic mass shooting at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis. Of course, nothing said or nothing promoted or nothing publicized by Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. 2 children lost their lives and others were injured, about 17, I believe the count was. According to the records in the court, Westman's petitioned to change their child's legal name and gender back in 2019. So this was like 6.5 years ago, when Robin was still a teenager, and the state of Minnesota approved it. Of course they did. So it's not an isolated act of rebellion. This was sanctioned by the very adults who were supposed to protect and guide their child. It was validated by the courts. It was applauded by radical activists who insist that children can decide their gender identity before they can legally drive at the age of 16 or 17. But what was the cost? The article goes on to say, now innocent children are dead. The silence from the White House has been telling, not a word about the tragedy, but instead the media has attempted to shield the facts as well. The shooter's transgender identity is buried in paragraph 14 if it's mentioned at all. Headlines focus on gun violence, but dodge the deeper cultural rot at the heart of the tragedy. Gender confusion among youth is not just a private matter when it leads to public tragedy, and enabling irreversible decisions at an early age carries profound consequences, not just for the individual, but society at large as well. We must ask, ladies and gentlemen, what kind of message are we sending when a child can choose to alter their identity legally, yet cannot buy a beer, vote, or join the military? The Westman's decision to sign off on their son's gender transition is not simply a family matter. It's a reflection of policies and cultural messaging pushed by the left and the media that claim feelings trump biology, that truth is subjective, and that children know best. Not the case. It's not. It's just not. Absolutely is not. So that's what we have, ladies and gentlemen, in this particular case. And as we clear our screen here a little bit for you, to get back to a little bit more about the children, how they are the ones who are at a very, very, very difficult point in their lives, especially in the way of their adolescence. So as we get back to this particular point, this young man we see before you, very disturbed, very confused about his existence. Well, thanks to his parents or his mother, who might have indoctrinated him into changing and taking those pills and going to see a doctor to make a difference. Yikes. As we move on, folks, we have some more information in regard to this particular individual. And we'll get to it here. We do have to clear something about our system first of all, and there we finally do. As for the children itself, to make a final statement on the Westman situation here, the Minnesota shooting, as we said, it's a reflection of policies and cultural messaging pushed by the left that claim feelings trump biology. And children know best, but children do not know best. The article goes on from the patriot, the raging patriot news. Children need guidance, not validation of every impulse. They need structure, not social experimentation. They need protection, not applause for decisions that may come with irreversible consequences. Both Westman, or I should say Robin Westman, not both, but Robin Westman, did not just slip through the cracks. He was handed a permission slip to mental instability by adults too afraid or too indoctrinated to question the narrative. And now, the state, hopefully, but more so the country, is mourning the results. So continuing on, folks, closer to Maine, as we mentioned earlier, before we had a little bit of interruption here on our screen, the Maine Wire's Steve Robinson, who also writes the Robinson Report, posted this horrible incident from Knox County as we bring up another story that is quite horrible but revealing, and along the same lines as the young man here. Thank you for your patience, folks. Appreciate your patience, folks. Now, who you see before you, ladies and gentlemen, the top picture is what he became. The bottom picture is what he or she used to be. But in the Robinson Report, which we're going to read the majority of it on this particular one, a deranged trans leftist tries to murder Border Patrol agents with his Lexus car. The scene of a migrant car crash in Maine. One state trooper said he drew his issued firearm and pointed at the driver, who swerved as he was pulling the trigger. So here it is, folks. Initially, a Thomaston man turned his luxury Lexus, right here, this guy, into a deadly weapon. On August 25th, barreling straight at cops and Border Patrol agents who were just doing their jobs at a crash scene involving suspected illegal immigrants. Well, do you think he was going to save them? Olivia G. Wilkins, 24, also known as Stevie Wilkins, was busted by the Knox County Sheriff's Office after the insane stunt, as mentioned August 25th, slapped with charges including reckless conduct with a dangerous weapon, his Lexus, criminal threatening with a dangerous weapon, again the Lexus, and obstructing government administration, driving to endanger, and failure to stop for an officer. Chaos erupted after a box truck driven by Victor Cardona Calderon, 57, of New York, veered off Route 17 in Washington, Maine, at the intersection of West Washington Road in Knox County. That's right. Our own backyards, folks. Janet Mills doesn't care. The more illegals that come in under her New Americans office, as we talked about in yesterday's podcast. Definitely you should take a look at that one. But he slammed into a tree and crumpling the cab, according to police details first revealed by Stephen Betts of the Mid-Coast Villager. Calderon, the driver of the box truck, presented a Colombian passport and New York driver's license, leading responding officers to suspect he might be present in the U.S. illegally. Oh, gee, you think? Here we go. Because New York State gives licenses to illegal aliens as a matter of policy. Emergency crews found 2 people trapped inside. The passengers included Johan Andres Ortiz Calderon. Good old American Yankee names, right? Agustin Sanchez Magia and Alejandro Ramos Show. Augustin was rushed to Maine Health Penn Bay Hospital in Rockport, while Alejandro was airlifted by life flight to a trauma center. Calderon flashed the Colombian passport and New York driver's license, but a Maine State Police trooper suspected the entire group might be all illegals. Oh my gracious sakes. What is the world coming to? You can't trust anybody anymore. Slight sarcasm, I get it. Yep, illegally. So, the trooper called the U.S. Border Patrol, as is typically done when detainees are suspected of having immigration issues. That's when Wilkins rolled up in his Lexus, filled with left-wing rage. Officers instructed Wilsons to vacate the premises and not interfere with the Border Patrol, but he did not obey. Instead, he hit the gas, squealing tires, and charging right at officers from the State Police and Border Patrol in a brazen attempt to run them down. Quoting the trooper, who detailed in a court affidavit to the Mid-Coast Villager, "I drew my issued firearm and pointed at the driver, who swerved as I was pulling the trigger. The unhinged liberal fled the scene, sparking a high-speed chase by sheriff's deputies and state police as well. It ended when his Lexus careened off the road near 571 West Washington Road, where he was finally cuffed and carted away." Well, finally. No thanks to other people getting injured. Go figure, the illegals. But not him. Border Patrol had no immediate comment on whether anyone from the truck was detained or why. Wilkins was hauled off to Knox County Jail in Rockland, where bail was set at a hefty $50,000 cash. He was in court Wednesday, August 27th. So what happened from there? Well, after he was arrested, Wilkins that is, after the car went off the road, he was reportedly charged with reckless conduct with a dangerous weapon. We went through this, I know, just a minute ago. Criminal threatening with a dangerous weapon. This is on the record now. It wasn't before. Obstructing government administration, driving to endanger, and failure to stop for an officer. After his court appearance August 27th before Judge Eric Walker, bail was reduced from $50,000 to $500 cash, according to the Mid-Coast Villager. The assistant district attorney, however, said that he argued for bail to remain at $50,000 while the defense requested release on personal recognizance. Personal recognizance, huh? The judge also ordered Wilkins to house arrest, prohibited him from driving, and barred the defendant from possessing dangerous weapons. A LinkedIn account for Wilkins features a profile of an individual who identifies as a woman, but uses they, he pronouns. And just what we need to see have as a tag on this particular story, folks. Thank you for joining us. Mark Merrill here on Firm under the topic of transgender attacks innocents at a Minnesota church, and then another incident by a transgender right in our own backyard in Knox County in Maine. The additional information on Mr. or Ms. Wilkins, they, he aside, a LinkedIn account appears to belong to Wilkins showcases left-wing totems, including a pride flag overlaid with a Black Lives Matter communist emblem. The account also suggests Wilkins has previously gone by the name Stevie. We probably did mention that. Although other media outlets are describing Wilkins as a woman, his LinkedIn account clearly states that he's a dude. That damn freaking lovely. To conclude, ladies and gentlemen, this is one hell of a situation we have in our country. The transgender population is less than 3%, in some cases less than 2%. When it comes to individuals who have been through the surgeries, the manipulation, the castration, or in this case of Stevie, having your breasts physically and surgically removed. Not to mention the gender and other types of chemicals that are used to change from a biological woman to a biological male. Can you imagine the horror? These, or this, let's change that to an individual, this person has gone through. Is it fair? A parent, such as Wilkins' mother, take advantage of their daughter, saying you need to be a boy, then takes it upon himself to go ahead and interfere with a Border Patrol agents who have pulled a van over, and he decides, I'm going to knock them over because it's not right in his mind. Pray for individuals like this, ladies and gentlemen. Pray a lot. And let's hope also that we in the state of Maine can get this under control, get the deflectocrats out of office with a horrible Mills administration. Attorney General Fry, all three of the speakers, Sarah Gideon starting with, she was part of all this maniacal, dastardly destruction of a human being, or human beings plural, it's more like it. If you throw in Planned Parenthood, the abortions, anytime, anywhere, any place, according to Janet Mills. Proud while she's saying it. Yuck. And also, folks, keep in mind, we will always be here for you when it comes to doing the right thing, giving you the facts, the truth, reality, common sense. Hopefully more good news down the road, ladies and gentlemen. In the meantime, here we are. Firm, fairness in reporting media. Truth in news reporting and journalism. And also, you can get our podcasts anytime Twitter or X and YouTube. And email us, ladies and gentlemen, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at fairnessinreportingmedia@gmail.com, fairnessinreportingmedia@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Stay safe and peace to all.